Hi, I'm Chris from airwindows, and here is Chorus Ensemble. This is even more fun than chorus because there's a lot more going on. Check this out. Boom. The kind of funky warbly thing going on here. 0.8 is the optimal sound for that. And let's bounce this back and forth between dry and effect for a second. Oh, but that's not warble. This is warble. Okay, enough fun with that. Chorus Ensemble uses a bunch of different taps to do the same basic thing chorus does, but it spreads it out. It makes it a lot more mixed up. So you can still use dry wet much the same way that you would with chorus and have roughly 50-50 dry and roughly 50-50 wet. Here, I'll show you that on good old Alien Kittens because that has a kind of punchy, dry electronic sound to it where it becomes very obvious what's happening. And it goes kind of like this. You can hear it sort of marking along there. Then it's all warbled out. And what we can do is pull it in. It's actually going a lot hotter when you do the range that way. And we can put it to roughly 0.8. The reason for that is there's 4 different taps and then there's the dry. So dry wet, if you want to have all of the different things including the dry balanced evenly, what you want is 0.8. 0.5 is half dry and half affected signal, but the affected signal is multiple taps. So here's the sound of range. Sort of doing a fuzzy thing going on in there. Notice you're starting to get a real sort of Comey effect. It's kind of weird there. We can exaggerate that and we can go to full wet for the most extreme version of that effect. Now here's where you start to get a thing that's going to sound more appropriate with like a pad or something like that. Chorus Ensemble works really well with very soft pad effects and can expand them outwards in a nice way. You're probably going to want to use less speed for something like that. I've got it moving rapidly so you can hear it swoop. It's moving so rapidly now that it's turning it into complete nonsense. So let's dial that back. Hear how that's blurred out? You keep lowering speed as the range goes up if you don't want just madness. completely diffuse. It's like a crazy reverb multiple echo effect or something. I can't help it, I gotta make the horrible noises. Sorry. But we can go back to something that's kind of like a more extended reverberant thing without quite as much pokey little beats in there. And then what we can do is use the dry wet. We don't have to have everything at 0.8 for maximum ensemble, including the dry. We can pull it back for a smaller blend, and it's going to do the same thing that chorus does, which is tone down the sort of brightness and vividness of all that madness. And that way you can get a kind of echoey effect that's not really a reverb. You know, it's chorus ensemble, but it's chorus ensemble with an extremely high range. And let's hear it. Here's our full wet. Very detuned there. So this is an interesting effect. You've got the reverby quality, but this is still just a chorus effect. There is no real reverb going on there. We stop and start. It goes away real quick, but it's still filling out the sound and behaving like it's some kind of reverb just by those little delay taps, all of which are heavily, heavily modulated. I can exaggerate the modulation too. So heavy, heavy modulation. This is how heavy. But if we dial it right back, and that's only at 0.38. I haven't even taken it all back to dry yet. Like, this is this, and then dry feels like this. So that's quite a big effect. But you'll notice that the crazy seasick modulation is much less obnoxious. I think if we push it even close to 5, it'll immediately start sounding obnoxious again. We'll pull it back a little bit. Tiny adjustments have big effects doing this. So this is a fun way to fool with your modulation. If you like automating stuff, it's a good way to get very striking results with just one control. I have too much fun with this little thing. and then a more sort of Hammond-y thing going on. Just a little flutter in the air. But the thing is, it sounds more or less like just a little flutter in the air, but we have incredibly heavy dry wet content. If we cut it out, it sounds hugely different. So imagine taking a synthesizer or something. Here, maybe this. Supposing this is your keyboard sound or something, and then you throw on ChorusEnsemble, which is very high range, much more diffuse, much more sort of faded out into sparkles and glitter. And we can voice it really high, or we can take it down a bit. And when we do that, rather than being high glittered, it's a sort of mid-range wobble going on. You can hear it on that keyboard there. It's a wobble. That's airwindows ChorusEnsemble for you. And I hope this comes in some kind of useful, because I was fussing around doing the best that I could to make it as good as it could be. And it's free, because I do this Patreon thing. And as a result of that, I can put stuff out that people can just have, so long as enough people, and we're talking lots of people, but they're basically throwing me $1 a month. There are those that will put more, especially if they want more stuff. Like reaching the $700 a month mark meant that I could start putting out stuff like Star Child, in addition to the greatest hits that I've put out. But there's pretty much a continuing path of more stuff. Like when I reach $800, I'll be open sourcing. Go to $1,000. I'm pretty sure that's the point where I put out 2 of the greatest hit plugins a month. And it's sort of so on and so forth. Like more happens, the more people get involved. But in terms of whether you can just grab this and use it, it's free, because that's just how I roll. So I hope you enjoy ChorusEnsemble and get some good use out of it. That's what I made it for. Thanks.